Hello everyone, I'm Lokesh Mathur from Swanit Education. I welcome you all in my another video in which we'll be talking about the recruitment process and the pattern followed by Deloitte. Now in this particular video, I'll start with the process that is followed by Deloitte during their recruitment process. The examination conducted by Deloitte comprises of four major sections. Now, when we talk about four major sections, the first section obviously belongs to the quant segment. In the quant segment, there are 25 questions, and for 25 questions, we usually get 35 minutes. We'll be talking about in detail for this section in the coming part of the video. The second segment comprises of the English verbal part. Now, when we talk about English, once again, the number of questions are 25, but for the duration, we only get 25 minutes in English segment. The third and a very important segment is the LR section. Once again, number of questions are 25 and time required to complete these questions are 35 minutes on the maximum side. Now, apart from these three segments, there is a very important section, or I can say an exclusive section in the paper of Deloitte, that is Wharton test. Now, Wharton test checks your reading skills, listening skills, and analyzing capabilities. So it is reading, listening, and along with reading and listening, the third segment is how do you analyze the situations. So these are the questions that we get in Versant, and number of questions are approximately in between 48 to 51, and time is no bar over here. So these are the four major segments we usually get in a paper based on the recruitment process of Deloitte. Going ahead, I'll be taking some of the questions which have been part of the Deloitte paper in the previous years. And you can expect to have the similar questions in the coming question papers or in the recruitment drives happening in the coming months. So let us go through one question at a time. The first question on your screen says, a single soul can merge with another soul in every second, and thus two souls get reduced to a single soul. If a soul cannot merge with another soul, then it becomes a ghost. Every soul tries not to become a ghost. On a particular day, there were 2 raised to the power 42,000 minus 1 souls. How many seconds, or in how many seconds, will all the souls become ghost? Now, this is more of a logical reasoning question, but a different variety than we usually get in most of the examinations. So, let us understand what is happening. So, we are catering to 2 raised to the power 42,000. Now, it's a bigger number. So what we do, we actually break down the question to a smaller one. So instead of 2 raised to the power 42,000 minus 1, let me take it this way. Let's assume the question is 2 raised to the power 1 minus 1. That means there are 2 raised to the power 1 minus 1 souls. That means I would be having only one soul. Now when there is only one soul, definitely it will convert into ghost in 1 second. So 1 second is the time required to convert 2 raised to the power 1 minus 1 soul into ghost. Similarly, if I talk about 2 raised to the power 2 minus 1, so I have increased the number. So there are 3 souls now in this case, out of which, according to the question, 2 souls will combine and form a single soul, whereas one will be in a ghost form. So there are 2 seconds I require for such a conversion. Let's take one more variety, 2 raised to the power 3 minus 1, which gives me 7. So there will be 3 pairs of souls converting into single soul and one extra soul converting into ghost. So for 3 pair, I would be needing 3 seconds for the conversion. So now what has happened? By this I can figure out there is a pattern which is coming up. So over here, for once power I need 1 second, for 2 power I need 2 seconds, for 3 I need 3 seconds, and hence for 42,000 power I need 42,000 seconds, and therefore my answer for the question is option number A, that is 42 seconds, 42,000 seconds in fact. So this is how we solve a question like this. Let's look at another question. If 43322k is exactly divisible by 72, what is k? Now this question actually is talking about the divisibility rules that we study in number system. So when I look at this digit, that is 4 3 3 2 2 k, and this number is divisible by 72, which means if you look into my another video which talks about divisibility rules, you will understand if a number is divisible by 72, it must be divisible by its factors also. So it should be divisible by 8 and 9 also, because 9 8s are 72, and hence this number should be divisible by 8 and 9 separately. Also, the divisibility test for 8 says the last 3 digits should be divisible by 8, which means 2 2k should be divisible by 8. Also, the divisibility test for 9 says sum of the digits should be divisible by 9. So by applying both these rules, I can easily get the value of k. By looking at it, I can say 8 3s are 24, but since my two digits are 22, so it is 8 2s are 16, and then we are left with the remainder as 6, which carries forward, and it becomes a number 6k should be divisible by 8. We know that a two digit number beginning with 6 divisible by 8 must be 64, and hence my value for k is 4. Therefore, my answer for this question is option number A, that is 4. So for this, I repeat again, if you want to have a closer look, you can actually look at my another video for divisibility rules. Let's look at another question. Find the remainder if 2 raised to the power 39 is divided by 7. Another trick from number system, wherein we check whether some number is divisible by another number gives us what remainder. For detail, you can again refer to another video on my channel which tells you finding the remainder. So when we talk about 2 raised to the power 39, I can simply write it as 2 cube to the whole power 13 divided by 7, so that I can write it as 8 to the power 13, which is nothing but 7 plus 1 to the power 13 divided by 7. Now 7 plus 1 to the power 13 divided by 7, this 7 will have no role in the remainder, hence I can ignore it. Like I said, for more details you can watch another video on my channel which talks about remainder finding process. So I'm left with 1 to the power 13 divided by 7, which is 1 by 7, and therefore the remainder is 1. That's again option number A, that is 1. So easy questions, but yes, this is what has been the process during the Deloitte recruitment. Let's look at another question. Find the last digit of 5 raised to the power 80, in fact 587 to the power 1997. Another number system question. Finding the unit digit. Now finding the unit digit is explained in a separate video on my channel. You can go through it and this question becomes a very easy one. Let's see how we do it. So a unit digit is because of unit digit. Therefore, these two digits have no role in the answer. So it should ideally be 7 raised to the power 1997. So what we do when we write powers of 7, that is 7 to the power 1 is 7, 7 to the power 2 is 49, 7 to the power 3 is 343, 7 to the power 4, I don't know what the value will be, but definitely the last digit will be 1. Similarly, when I write 7 to the power 5, my last digit will be 7. 7 to the power 6, my last digit will be 9, and so on. So when you look at the pattern, it is 7931. 7931, which means cyclicity. Yes, this term is very important. Cyclicity for 7, that is the duration after which the unit digit is getting repeated, is 4 in case of 7. So we divide this number by 4 and we look for a remainder. So 4 fours are 16, 4 nines are 36, 4 nines are 36, remainder comes out to be 1, and therefore my answer is 7. So 587 to the power 1997 gives me 7 as the unit digit, that is option number A once again. Let's look at another question. In how many ways can the words mangoes be arranged in which A and N are at the end positions? So in mangoes, there are 7 alphabets. So let me put 7 such places. Now the question is either A or N should occupy the end positions, which means definitely the first or the last place will be filled by A and N. And there are 5 letters left, which means this position can be filled in any of the 5 possible ways, the other place in 4, 3, 2, and 1, which means to fill these 5 positions, I have 5 factorial ways, which means 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. But A can come here and N can come at the last place. Similarly, N can come here and A can come at the last place. So therefore, there are 2 such possibilities. And hence, my value is 5 factorial, that is 120, multiplied by 2, that is 240 becomes my answer, which is option number B. A very easy question. That's how Deloitte tests the students on the basis of quant and the reasoning segment. Let's look at another question. How many 7-digit numbers can be formed using the digits 1303535? Let's make a 7 place situation. So this is, in fact, I have made 8. So let me remove the last one. Okay, so now there are 7 places. Now let's understand first place can be filled by 1, 3, 3, 5, 3, and 5. 0 cannot come at the first place. That means this can be filled in 6 ways. Second place now can be filled by any of the other number, including 0, and therefore it should be 6 again. Third place can be filled by the remaining 5, the remaining 4, 3, 2, and 1. So ideally, it comes out to be 6 multiplied by 6 factorial. But please understand this is not the answer. Why? Because digit 3 is coming 3 times. Digit 5 is coming 2 times. And whenever we talk about repetition, it should be divided by the number of times the digits are getting repeated. That is 2 factorial and 3 factorial. 2 factorial for 5 and 3 factorial for 3. So when we solve this value, it comes out to be 6 multiplied by 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and in the denominator we definitely have 3 factorial and 2 factorial. So when we cancel these values, we virtually end up with something like this, which is 6, 5, 4, 3, and 1. So 6 5s are 30, 34s are 120, 120, 3s are 360, and therefore my answer is option number B. That's how we solve it. Let's understand another question. How many terms of the AP 147 are needed to give the sum 1001? Now, sum of AP, the formula is very simple, that is n by 2 multiplied by 2 times the first digit plus n minus 1 multiply the difference between the digits. So when I put the values over here, that is 1001 is equal to n by 2 twice of a. A is my first number, that is 1 over here, plus n minus 1 multiplied by 3, that is the common difference. So when we solve this, I'll be getting 2002 is equal to, and we are left with n multiplied by 2 plus 3n minus 3, which gives me 3n minus 1 multiplied by n minus 2002 is equal to 0. Clearly, I will be getting a quadratic equation, 3n square minus n minus 2002 is equal to 0. So when we solve this value, you can easily find that out by solving through a quadratic equation process method. And since I know the values, I can directly say that n comes out to 26 over here. You will get a negative and a positive value, but when you solve it, you definitely should have n as positive, and therefore answer for the question becomes option number B, that is 26. Another question: find the smallest four-digit number when divided by 7, 9, 11 leaves a remainder of 3, 5 and 7 in each case. Now this is a very interesting and important question from HCF LCM. Now when we talk about this question, there are numbers such as 7, 9, 11. So when a number is divided by 7, 9 and 11, the remainders are 3, 5 and 7 in each case. Now if you look at the pattern, 7 minus 3 gives me 4. Similarly, 9 minus 5 gives me 4 and 11 minus 7 gives me 4. Which means my answer can be very straight away LCM of 7, 9 and 11 minus 4. Now, when I talk about the LCM of 7, 9 and 11, it gives me 600, and because these three are co-prime numbers. So when we multiply 7, 9 and 11, we straight away get 693 minus 4, and therefore I come across 689. But the point is, in this question, we are also talking about a four-digit number. So when we do not get a four-digit number from here, we multiply it with the next value, and therefore 693 multiplied by 2 gives me 1386, which is a four-digit number, minus 4, and therefore my value is 1382. That is option number B as my answer. So very important question from HCF LCM. Next question: A can do a piece of work in 4 days, B can do it in 20 days. With the help of C, they finish the work in 2 days. In how many days can C alone do the work? Now this is a very simple equation. 1 upon A plus 1 upon B plus 1 upon C, and it should be equal to 1 upon total time. So we know the value of A, that is 4. We know the value of B, that is 20. And we have to calculate the value of C, whereas they can finish the total work alone in 2 days. Not alone, in fact, together. So when we solve it, 1 upon C is equal to 1 upon 2 minus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 20. We can take the LCM and solve it further. 20 is the LCM, which gives me 10 minus 5 plus 1, which gives me 4 by 20, which is 5. So that means C alone, because 1 upon C comes out to be 1 upon 5, and therefore we can say that C can complete the work alone in 5 days. That's option number B in this question. Let's look at next question. In a village, the average age of n people is 39 years. But after the verification, it was found that one person was 50 years older than his age considered in the average. So the new average after correction increased by 1, the value of n is. Now please understand, since a 50-year person was incorrectly entered in terms of age. So 50 years if added, if I calculate the value of average, the formula for average says sum of the physical quantities divided by number. So in this way, if you put the values and try to solve it with equation, it will take time. But my suggestion here would be, it's very simple. Since after adding 50 years to the sum, average is increasing by 1, which means it should be divided by 50 only. That means my value of n, that is number of people in the village, should be 50, and hence my answer becomes 50 directly. Whereas if you put these values in the formula, you will still get the answer, but that will be time consuming. Let's look at another question. A train normally covers a certain distance at a speed of 100 km per hour. However, if it were to halt for a certain interval in each hour, its average speed reduces to 80 km per hour. So earlier it was 100 km per hour, then with the halt it becomes 80 km per hour. What is the average time interval for which the train halts in each hour? Let's understand. In 1 hour, with this speed, it will cover 100 kilometers. In 1 hour, with this situation, it will cover 80 kilometers, which means by halting at different places, it has got a reduction of 20 kilometers, which means 20 kilometers with this speed, that is 100 kilometer per hour, must have been covered in 1 by 5, that is 20 by 100 gives me 1 by 5 of an hour. 1 by 5 of an hour is nothing but 1 by 5 multiplied by 60, and that is 12 minutes. So that means the train must have halted for 12 minutes, and the answer becomes option number B, 12 minutes. Next question. Monthly incomes of A and B are in the ratio 5 is to 4, and the savings are in the ratio 3, or in fact 4 is to 3. If the expenditure will be 600 rupees for each, so they both are spending 600 rupees each, then the monthly incomes of each are. So instead of the ratio, if I talk about their incomes, I would say 5x and 4x. Similarly, instead of the ratio, if I talk about their savings, it will be 4y and 3y. And when I form the equation, I can say that 5x minus 600 is equal to 4y. Similarly, 4x minus 600 is equal to 3y. Also, when I equate both these things, I will be getting 5x minus 4y, because that's equal to 600, is equal to 4x minus 3y. Upon solving this, I will be getting x is equal to y. If I put these values in any of these equations, if I put x is equal to y, my value for x is equal to y comes out to be 600 rupees, which means their incomes would be x multiplied by 5, that is 5 multiplied by 600, that is 3000 rupees is income for A, and 600 multiplied by 4 is 2400 income for B, and that makes my option A as the answer. So a equation formed for the solution. Next question. A traveled from B to C, covering a total distance of 300 kilometers in 9 hours. So from B to C, A traveled 300 kilometers in 9 hours. So he traveled by car at 25 kilometers per hour and the rest by train at 40 kilometers per hour. So 25 kilometers per hour is the initial speed for some distance, and then 40 kilometers per hour is by train for some distance. So the distance traveled by car is, so let's assume that he traveled a d distance by car, which means distance traveled by car divided by speed by car, that is distance by speed gives me time, plus distance traveled by train, that is 300 minus d by speed of train, that is 40, should be equal to 9 hours. So now when we solve this equation, we should be in a position to get the value of d. Let's try and solve it. So if I take 200 as the LCM, which gives me 8 times of d over here, plus it will be 5 times of 300 minus d is equal to 9. Upon solving this, I'll be getting 8 times of d plus 1500 minus 5d is equal to 1800. So it gives me 3d is equal to 300, which means d, that is the distance traveled by car, comes out to be 100 kilometers, and that's option number D. So such simple question. Let's look at another question. A can do a piece of work in 20 days if B is 40, in fact 80% more efficient than A, then the number of days required by B to do the same piece of work is. It says that A can do some work in 20 days. If B is 80% more efficient, that means if B is 80% more efficient, B would be taking 80% less time than A. If we talk about 80% less time than A, and B can do the same in how many days is the question, whereas B is 80% more efficient. That means the ratio of efficiencies for A and B can be termed as 100 and 180, which upon simplification, which actually give me 5 is to 9. That means 5 units of work is done by A and 9 units of work is done by B. Let's say in one day. So in 20 days, A will be finishing 5 multiplied by 20, that is 100 units of work. And this 100 units of work, each day 9 units done by B will be done in how many days? 100 divided by 9, that gives me 11 point something. So therefore answer becomes option number A, that is 11 days. Let's look at another question. The price of an item increases by 40%. By what percent should the new price be decreased to bring it back to the original price? Which means now we have a formula in mathematics wherein we talk about increase and decrease in terms of x upon 100 plus x and x upon 100 minus x. Now over here, the price of an item is increased by 40%. So by what percent the new price should be decreased? Now when we are talking about decreasing of the price, look at these two formulas. This formula will give me a smaller value as compared to this one. And hence, I have to use this formula wherein my x over here is 40. So when we say 40 upon 100 plus 40 multiply by 100, if I have to calculate the percentage. So this gives me 40 divided by 140 multiply by 100, upon cancellation 0 and 0 goes off. This gives me 2, this gives me 7. So it becomes 200 divided by 7, which upon simplification 7 2s are 14, 60, 7 8s are 56 point, and this is sufficient for me to get the answer option number C. Let's look at another question. The Indian cricket team played 20 one-day matches in a particular season of a year and won 25% matches they played. So which means they played 20 matches, they won 25%, that is 5 matches. If they wanted a minimum success rate of 75%, what is the minimum number of matches they would have to play more? Which means if they want to make their success as 75%, let's suppose they play X more matches and they win all of those matches. So these are the matches they won, and 20 they already played, X they have played now, and this percentage comes out to be 75. So if I solve it now, this is 4 and 3. Upon cross multiplication, I get 60 plus 3x is equal to 20 plus 4 of x. When we solve it, we get x is equal to 40, which means they should be playing at least 40 more matches to make the count as 75%. Another question. I went to buy a Maruti at Neura Motors. The dealer offered me 3 discount options on the list price of 20, in fact 2 lakh. 2 successive discounts of 10%, 3 successive discounts of 7%, and 4 successive discounts of 5.5%. Now the question is, which option is the best for me? So when I talk about the first option, I can say that 2 successive discounts. Now I know that successive percentage, again those who do not know what is successive percentage, they must be looking at my another video which talks about successive percentage in detail. So over here I say that successive percentage is equal to A plus B plus A multiplied by B divided by 100%. So now over here we are talking about discounts, and when we talk about discounts, we actually take percentage in negative. So over here, if there is a successive discount of 10% and 10%, I can say that minus 10 minus 10, I'm just putting the values in this formula, plus A into B, that is 100 divided by 100. So it gives me minus of 19%. Please understand, this value of 2 lakh has no role in the question. Let's look at the second scenario. 7% and 7% and 7%, which means we are talking about 7, 7 and 7. Since it is a discount case, we put a negative sign. So first of all, we will apply successive percentage for 7 and 7. So it gives me minus 7 plus 49 upon 100, which gives me minus 14 plus 0.49, which gives me minus 13.51. Now this minus 13.51 and this minus 7. So we have to put another formula of successive percentage, which is minus 13.51 minus 7 plus. Now we need to multiply minus 13.51 and 7. So even you can do approximation, but even if you want to multiply it, you can do that and get the value. So somewhere it will be close to 0.94 upon division. When we say upon division, I am talking about this value of 100, which gives me this value. And we can actually subtract the remaining two values, that is minus of 20.51, and I end up getting minus 19.56 percentage, which is greater than the first one. So when we are talking about which one is best for me, we are not going to consider the first option. Let's talk about the third option as well, in which we are talking about minus 5.5 minus 5.5. Since it is minus 5.5 for 4 successive times, we have to take it 4 times. Now again, 2 at a time is what we do in successive percentages. So minus 5.5 and minus 5.5 gives me minus 11 plus 5.5 multiplied by 5.5 gives me somewhere close to 30.25. Divided by 100 will be 0.3025, which means together I will be getting minus 19.25. Similarly, this one will also be minus 19.25. Now, or in fact not 19.25, because minus 11 plus 0.3025 gives me only 10.6975. So I will just remove these values which I have written just now, and I'll write my fresh values. That will be minus of 10.6975 minus 10.6975, because I'm again using successive percentage formula, and 10.6975 and 10.6975 upon multiplication, when I multiply both these values once again, I will be getting 10.6975 divided by 100. So I'll be getting somewhere close to 1.14 plus of 1.14. And now when we add this up, we have to find that value. What do we get? 10 point, and if we add it one more time, it will come out to be somewhere, because 10 and 10, this will give me approximately 21.2 minus 1.4. So it will give me the maximum value, and hence my answer becomes option number C, that is third, gives me the highest discount. Let's look at another question. A and B start a business with some investments. A, as a working partner, received 20% of the annual profits as salary, and the remaining was equally divided among A and B. If the entire profit was divided among A and B in the ratio of the investments, A would have received 1000 rupees less than what he actually got. B's share of the profit is 6000. If B's investment is 21,000, what is A's investment? Now this is a lengthy question, but let's see how quickly can we solve this question. So it says A received, let me use another ink because, yeah. So A and B. Now A received 20% of the annual profits, and the remaining was divided equally between A and B. So remaining is 80%. 80% equally divided means he should be getting 40% and he should be getting 40%. So this is actually 60 and 40. So the ratio in which they got the profits is 6:4. Now the second statement says if the entire profit was divided among A and B in the ratio of their investments, A would have received 1000 rupees less. Had it been in terms of their investments, A would have received 1000 rupees more, and certainly B would have received 1000 rupees more. So over here, the next line of the statement says B's share of the profit is 6000. So B's share of the profit is 6000. That means 4 times of X is given as 6000, which means X comes out to be 1500, which means A must have received 6 of X, that is 9000 rupees. And if A has received 9000, B has received 6000, that means total profit has been 15,000. Okay, now had it been the case that B's investment is 21,000, and now question is what is A's investment? So when the profit distribution must have happened in terms of their investments, he must have received 6x minus 1000. That is, he must have received 8000, and this person should have received 7000. That means that's what their ratio of investments. So he invested 21,000, which is 3 times of it. Therefore, he must have invested 3 times of it, that is 24,000 as the investment value. And that's option number D as the answer. So this is how we solve such a question. It looks lengthy, it's easy. Another question. Ravi has a bag full of 10 Nestle and 5 Cadbury chocolates. Out of these, he draws 2 chocolates. What is the probability that he would get at least one Nestle chocolate? Now we know that the formula for probability is favorable outcomes divided by sample space. Now what is the favorable outcome here? We are talking about he should be getting at least one Nestle chocolate. That means it can be one Nestle or it can be both Nestle chocolates. So therefore, this is the desired outcome out of the total. Total 15 chocolates are there, out of which 2 are removed. So 15C2. Now when we are talking about one Nestle chocolate, that means it should be 10C1 multiplied by, when it is one Nestle, it should be one Cadbury, 5C1, or 2 Nestle, that means 10C2, and the whole value is divided by 15C2. That means this is my answer. The other way of solving it is, since we are looking for at least one Nestle chocolate, we can actually subtract the total value and the option of having both the Cadbury chocolates. So if both the chocolates are Cadbury, we will not have any Nestle chocolate. This is how it looks like. So having both the Cadbury chocolates is from 5. So it's 5C2. So when we calculate it further, 1 minus NCR, the formula for NCR is 5 factorial divided by 2 factorial, 3 factorial, divided by, it should be 15 factorial divided by 2 factorial and 13 factorial. When we solve this further, we will be getting 1 minus 5 multiplied by 4 divided by 2. Putting it further, I can say 5 multiplied by 14 multiplied by, in fact, divided by. So this, actually I have to rearrange these values. So I am just going to remove what I have written just now, and when I write it once again, so 2 factorial multiplied by 3 factorial divided by, it should be 15. In fact, it is not 3 factorial, it is 13 factorial. So let me put the value as 13 factorial itself, and I remove this 2 factorial part. So it is 15 factorial, hence I can write it like this. So it gets cancelled in this way. Similarly, 5 2's are 10. Over here it becomes 7. So 1 minus 10 divided by 7 multiplied by 15 is 105, which means it comes out to be 95 divided by 105, which is 19 divided by 21, and that's option number A as the answer. Next question. A television manufacturing company decided to increase the sale to beat the economic slowdown. It decides to reduce the price of a television set by 25%, as a result of which the sales increased by 20%. What is the effect on the total revenue? Now again, it's a question from successive percentage. So as we can see, they have reduced the price by 25%, whereas they have increased the sales by 20%. So when we put the values in the formula, that is successive percentage is equal to A plus B plus AB upon 100. When we put these values, what do we get? Minus 25 plus 20 minus 5 0 0 upon 100. Upon cancellation, we get minus 25 plus 20 minus 5, that is minus of 10%. So as you can see, a big question, but the answer is very simple. Decreases by 10% because there is a negative sign. So answer is option number D. Next question. Ronald and Ellen are working on an assignment. Ronald takes 6 hours to type 32 pages on a computer. So I'm talking about Ronald, 6 hours, 32 pages. while Alan takes 5 hours 5 hours to type 40 pages. How much time will they take working together on two different computers to type an assignment of 110 pages? So together they wish to type 110 pages. So how much time together will they take? Now for solving this question, I need to see whether I can make the work equal or not. So let's see how can I do that. So over here, for 32 pages, he's taking 6 hours. What about this person? For 40 pages, he's taking 5 hours. That means in 1 hour, he will be writing 8 pages. So which means in 4 hours, he should be writing 32 pages. So to complete the same work, that is 32 pages, they are taking 6 hours and 4 hours respectively. So when they work together, they should be typing these 32 pages in certain duration of time, and that is 1 upon 6 plus 1 upon 4. So when I take the LCM, I get 24, which gives me 4 plus 6, and that is 10 by 24. So to do this work, they are taking 2.4 hours. That means in 2.4 hours, they are finishing 32 pages. And now we are looking at 110 pages. So for 32 pages, they are taking 2.4 hours. That means for one page, it will be 2.4 divided by 32. And for 110, it should be a multiple of this value. So upon solving this value, we get, if I remove this decimal, I have to cancel this off. So 24 multiplied by 11, that is 264. 264 divided by 32, so it comes out to 8.25 hours. So 8.25 hours. Now please understand, it is 8.25 hours, but 0.25 of an hour is 15 minutes. So don't get confused with option number C and option number D. 0.25 of an hour is option number C, that is 8 hours and 15 minutes. And that's my answer to the question. Let's look at another question. A salesman has the liberty to sell a hair dryer in his store at a price between 300 and 700. Profit earned by selling the hair dryer for 650 is twice the loss incurred when it is sold for rupees 350. What is the cost price of a dryer? So in the first place, when he's selling it at 650 rupees, he is getting a profit. That means 650 minus cost price is the profit. And next time when he's selling it at 350, there is a loss. That means cost price minus 350 is the loss. And it says the profit earned is twice the loss. So here's your equation. Let's solve it further. 650 minus cost price is equal to twice of cost price plus 700. When we solve it further, we get cost price of the, in fact, it's negative because there's a minus sign over here. So when we bring all the variables at one side and the remaining at the other, this is what we get. So cost price of the hair dryer comes out to be 1350 divided by 3, which is 450 rupees, and that's option number B. So this video is actually giving you an idea of the type of questions we will be getting for Deloitte. Let's look at another question. In how many ways can 6 lottery tickets be distributed? 6 lottery tickets, L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, and L6 be distributed among 4 people. So it's P1, P2, P3, and P4, such that they can get any number of tickets. Now this is a little different question from permutations and combinations, which means any one of them can get any number of tickets. Maybe all the tickets can be received by person 1, maybe all the tickets can be received by person 2, or any way around. So what we do, instead of finding out how many tickets will P1, P2, P3, P4 will get, we have to solve this question the other way. We have to figure out in how many ways can we distribute this lottery ticket. and we will find that it is 4 ways, because it can go to P1, it can go to P2, it can go to P3, and it can also go to the last person, that is P4. Similarly, the second lottery ticket can be distributed in 4 ways, third one in 4 ways, and likewise all the 6 lottery tickets can be distributed. So my answer over here comes out to be 4 to the power 6. That's option number C as the answer. Another question: if 15 oxen or 20 cows can eat the grass on a field in 80 days, then in how many days will 6 oxen and 2 cows eat the same grass? So let's see what the question is talking about. It says 15 oxen or 20 cows can eat the grass field in 80 days, which means one cow or one oxen, I should say, should eat up, multiply by 15 days. Similarly, one cow can eat it up in 80 multiplied by 20. So the values that we'll be getting here is 1200 and 1600. Now when we talk about one oxen and one cow, we are getting 1200 and 1600, but for 6 oxen it will be 1200 divided by 6, and for 2 cows it will be 1600 divided by 2 to get 200, and at the same time over here 800. So when they are doing it together with the formula of time and work, time taken by A multiplied by time taken by B divided by time taken by A and B together. So when we add this up, so when we cancel the values, we will end up getting 20 multiplied by 8, that is 160 days as the answer. So this question can be done with the easy process of time and work, and the option is D, answer. Another question: pointing to a photograph, Meera said, "He is the son of my grandfather's only son." How is Meera related to the boy in the photograph? Now, this question comes from blood relation. Whenever we solve a blood relation question, we should actually try and assume ourselves in the question. At the same time, we have to start solving the question from the relationship which is closest to us. So let's see what it says. So pointing to a photograph, Meera said, "He is the son of my grandfather's only son." My grandfather's only son. She must be talking about her father. He is the son of my father. So Meera says, pointing to a person in the photograph, that he is the son of my father. That means she's talking about her brother. So how is Meera related to that person? Answer is sister. That's how we solve a blood relation question. Another question: what comes as the next element in the series? Now there's a Roman alphabet series. The first one is 2, next one is 6, third one is 10, fourth one is 14, then 18, then 22. So if we look at the difference, there is an equal difference of 4 in between. So when we are talking about the next number, it should be 26. How do we write 26? We can look at the option and see that option number B is my answer. Another question on your screen. A person walked 25 meters north, then took a left turn and then walked 30 meters. The person again took a left turn and walked 25 meters. How far and in which direction is that person from the starting point? Now this is a question of direction sense, wherein we assume that there are 4 major directions. On a piece of paper, the top side is north, bottom is south, right is east, and the left is west. So the question says a person walks 25 meters north. So this is where he has walked for 25 meters. Then he took a left turn and walked for 30 meters. So he took a left and walked for 30 meters. The person again took a left turn and walked 25 meters. So he took a left and walked for 25. And eventually he has reached to the same horizontal line. Now the question is, in which direction is that person from the starting position? From starting position, this is his direction. and this direction according to the standard diagram is west. And what is this distance? This should be the same horizontal distance, that is 30. So the answer is 30 meters to the west. Let's look at another question. What will be the next term in the following series? Now I'll rewrite the series A, B, B, D, C, F, D, H, E, and J. So when I'm rewriting the series, I can see that it's not always in the increment format. After B, we are getting D, and after D, we are again getting C. So it may be decreasing as well. So whenever you see such a pattern, the first thought that should come to your mind is look for the alternate elements. So when you look at the alternate elements, you find that there may be a sequence A, B, C, D, E, and hence the next alphabet should be F, and that's my answer to the question. I'm not worried about the other pattern, other alternate pattern, but had it been the case, I may have been in a position to find that out as well. But over here, F becomes my answer. Next question. Report is related to, okay, so I am writing these alphabets once again. Report is related to U, G, S, Q, U, and V. So for these coding decoding questions, the best click here is you should be writing alphabets during solving these questions. You should be writing alphabets along with numbers. Now over here, let's see what is happening. So R has become U. So when we speak of the alphabets, it becomes R, S, T, U. So ideally it is a +2 thing. Similarly, E has become G. So E, F, G. So it is a +1. Or you can say this one was +3 and this one is +2 accordingly. Similarly, P, Q, R, S. So it is, for confusion, or to avoid confusion, I'm going to write it as +2 and +3 only, so that it becomes a little easy for us to find that out. So this was +3. So the third element is U. Over here it is +2. Similarly, O to Q. O, L, M, N, O, P, Q. So it is again +2. So I have found the sequence. It should be +2, +3, +2, +3. So to find that out, the question says, in the same way, longer is related to. So I have to find out how is longer related. So it should be +3 for L. So it should be L, M, N, and O. +2 O, P, Q. +3 O, P, Q. Similarly, +2 G, H, I. +3 H, and +2 is T, and that makes my answer as option number C. Another question on your screen. Six friends A, B, C, D, and E are sitting around the hexagonal table. Now, when we say hexagonal table, we have to find a diagram like this. Each at one corner and are facing the center of the hexagon. A is second to the left of F. So I can start putting them. A is second to the left of F. B is a neighbor of C and D. Now see, B is a neighbor of C and D. That means B should be in between C and D. It can be CBD, it can be DBC. So in both the ways, these three people should come together, which is only possible if B is here. Now either C can be here or C can be here, and similarly D can place at the other positions. That means E will definitely come here. Now the next line says E is second to the left of D. E is second to the left of D, which means D will definitely come over here, and hence C will come here. So I have placed all six people. Now the question is, which one is sitting opposite to E? E is here, opposite to E is B, and that's my answer to the question. So these are the type of questions we are getting in Deloitte. Another question. It says, read the following statements and answer the question. Five men P, Q, R, S, and T read a newspaper. The one who reads first gives it to R, which means the first person hands it over to R. Then the one who reads last has taken it from P. That means P is the second last person to read the newspaper. T was not the first or the last. Since there are five people, so this is how it look like. There are five positions: one, two, three, four, and five. So we have already filled up second and the fourth position. Now T is not the first nor the last. Then T must be over here. There were two readers between Q and P. So if P is here and there are two readers between Q and P, so Q should come here. So it is PQR. Now S is over here. So this is how it looks like. So this is how the newspaper was handed over from one to the other. Who did Q pass the newspaper to? So Q has passed the newspaper to R, and therefore answer is option number A. So this is the variety of question that we usually get in a Deloitte paper and have been asked very regularly. I hope you have understood all the types of questions that we have discussed in this particular video. For more such videos, you can subscribe to our channel, that is youtube.com/swanith education. And also you can click on the bell icon so that whenever we upload another video, you get the notification. Hopefully you will like the video. Kindly share it with your friends and do great in the upcoming examinations. Thank you.